Episode of Deep True Crime. I'm Manny Rodriguez. In today's episode, I want to cover another domestic violence incident. This time, woman kills husband. And it's very strange because she lured him into his own death where she is the perpetrator. And so now she has been convicted to life without parole. Let's go ahead and dive into what we know at this time. A Quarryville woman was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for first-degree murder by Lancaster County Judge Merrill Spahn. Now, Danielle Bewley, 30 years old, of the 100 block of Locust Lane, has been convicted of first-degree murder by Judge Spahn following a 5-day bench trial that concluded on December 21st, 2022. And the Assistant District Attorney, Christine Wilson, she said first-degree murder was the only appropriate verdict based on the facts and evidence. Bewley shot and killed Mitchell Bewley after luring him to a PNC bank parking lot in Strasburg around 5:30 p.m. on Valentine's Day in 2021. The victim was shot 5 times in the torso. Now, the Judge Spahn, he said, the decisions you've made have left nothing but loss, heartache, and despair. Spahn also stated the law cannot correct what has been done before ordering the mandatory sentence for first-degree murder, life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. The victim's father spoke during the proceeding and told the victim that he forgave and loved her. Now, Assistant District Attorney Wilson presented evidence that the killing was premeditated, while the defense argued the shooting was in self-defense during this trial. Here is a picture of the victim. Rest in peace, Mitchell. Now, Wilson, ADA, Assistant District Attorney Wilson, she said on Valentine's Day of 2021, the defendant executed a plan and then executed the victim. She had it all planned out. It was specific premeditation. She was lying in wait for the victim to get there. That's exactly what the Assistant District Attorney has shared. Now, further evidence and testimony presented by Wilson throughout trial included witnesses at the PNC Bank heard one gunshot, and then they heard a rapid succession of gunfire, one after another. The Lancaster County coroner who conducted the victim's autopsy testified all 5 shots could have been fatal to the victim. And testimony from the defendant's friend and ring camera video evidence revealed that the defendant went to the friend's house to pick up her firearm. Wilson also argued that the defendant's claim that she was scared was inaccurate since she never stopped at a police station or stayed at a friend's house rather than going to meet with the victim. Testimony in this case that the defendant made previous threats to kill the victim was also presented as evidence. And there's even evidence of a FaceTime call between the defendant and her friend, with the defendant showing a gun moments before the shooting. There's also evidence of multiple calls from the defendant to friends and family saying that she had shot the victim, including that he got what he deserved. She said that to multiple friends and family members. Another piece of evidence that Wilson presented was she could not reasonably believe she was in threat of serious bodily injury or death when she lured the victim to the PNC Bank to kill him. She says there's no mistaken belief that her life was in danger. It's premeditated first-degree murder. Wilson also stated that the defendant could have safely retreated from the situation by driving away. The inability to safely retreat is needed for a self-defense claim. Defense asked for a third-degree murder or manslaughter verdict, arguing that the defendant's mental health and prior victimization made her reasonably believe she was in fear of danger. Assistant District Attorney Jessica Coyo assisted in this prosecution. And so now we know, no, they do not believe it was self-defense. You are said to have done this. And the affidavit, it says that Danielle Bewley called her sister after the shooting and said that she had shot Mitchell 4 times at the PNC Bank in Strasburg, and she's going to kill herself because she will not live in prison. And Pennsylvania State Police, they arrived at Bewley's home on the 100 block of Locust Lane in East Drumore Township about 15 minutes after the shooting. That's according to the affidavit. And in the house, a light turned on and off inside, and they could hear a woman's voice. That's what the court documents have shared. What followed was an hours-long standoff between Danielle Bewley and police. They said she was taken into custody just before 11:30 p.m. February 14th, Valentine's Day of 2021, after assistance from heavily armed state police and the Special Emergency Response Team. And so prosecutors, they presented evidence at trial showing Danielle Bewley had confessed to killing her husband to friends and family, claiming he got what he deserved. As you know, I did share that with you, but I want to even break it down a little more because she had previously made threats to kill her husband. That's what the district attorney's office is sharing. And so the judge's first-degree verdict shut down the defense's argument that Danielle Bewley's mental health and prior victimization caused her to fear for her life, and her husband warranted only a third-degree or manslaughter conviction. But prosecutors, they said that surveillance footage recorded Danielle Bewley going to a friend's house to pick up her gun before she went to meet her husband the night of the killing. She could not reasonably believe she was in threat of serious bodily injury or death when she lured the victim to the PNC Bank to kill him. There is no mistaken belief that her life was in danger. It's premeditated first-degree murder. And so that's why she got life without the possibility of parole. See, she lured her husband, Mitchell Bewley, to the parking lot of PNC Bank on North Decatur Street. This is her house where she was held up for hours in a standoff as police tried to get her to come out. You see, a short time after his body was discovered at 5:30 p.m., Pennsylvania State Police received a call from a man with whom Danielle Bewley had a prior relationship. According to the affidavit, the man told troopers Bewley stated she had put 4 bullets in her husband and was on her way home to put 1 more in her head. The affidavit said Bewley also called her sister, telling her she had shot her husband and was going to kill herself because she will not live in prison. And so that's when a special emergency response team responded to this home on Locust Street in East Drumore Township, where then there was the standoff that lasted several hours. She was charged with criminal homicide and firearms because she was not allowed to be carrying a firearm without a license. And so now she will spend the rest of her life in prison after doing the unthinkable to her husband. If it's one thing we don't understand, look, I don't know her story. I don't know where she comes from. The one thing I can tell you, she had ample opportunities if she was in fear of him to actually do something other than taking his life. Because here's the thing, she was also threatening to kill herself, right? Which meant in her way, I am not going to spend the rest of my life in prison. So she already knew she was going to be in trouble for this. What kind of domestic violence? We don't really know. This is a deeper story. What I'm bringing you is another reason that we have to be careful when we let our worst come out. I don't know Danielle, but I do know that she did something wrong. My friends, we have to be careful. We have to listen to those urges inside of us that want to make us do something wrong. We know that it's in there. See, God gave us choices, and sometimes we don't always choose the right path. Danielle, she did not choose the right path. Mitch, I don't know him. I don't know why she would even say this, but she lured him to PNC Bank with some lie to get him there. Now, she said that she shot him 4 times, but multiple accounts say 5 times, which also leads the one shot and then boom, rapid fire. So maybe the one shot she forgot about, then 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't know. But she said that she had put 4 bullets in her husband and she was on her way to put 1 more in her head. Where did she get the gun from? We do know because she got it from her friend who also then testifies. And the friend did the right thing. What did Danielle actually tell her that made the friend think, here is a gun for your protection? Maybe she's like, hey, I don't plan on using it, but I want to protect myself this in case. But see, here's the thing. She lured him there. My friends, we have to be careful with these relationships we're getting into, with the people that we are trusting, because Mitchell probably at one time trusted her. Now, they're both pretty young, right? She was like 30 years old. She was actually 29 years old, and I think he was like maybe 27 years old. Mitchell Bewley, rest in peace, taken from this world way too soon by another selfish act. And so, my friends, be careful who you're trusting out there. Be careful. Hey, if you're in a relationship that you know makes you think the worst, get out before it's too late. Before you do the unthinkable or the other person does the unthinkable. A lot of times there are red flags that we do not pay attention to. My friends, be careful who you're trusting, what stories you're buying into, what red flags you may be ignoring, because there are so many stories where a person may forgive for some past heinous acts, and now they're not here to speak on that. My friends, be careful. I'm Manny Rodriguez, and at the end of the day, my goal is to be a voice for the victims and to keep you updated on what could go wrong in this crazy world we live in. I'm Manny Rodriguez. If this is the type of content you like to follow, hit that subscribe button. Hit that like if you got some value out of this, because that tells YouTube, show it to more people. There is value here. Thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to serving you again. My friends, be careful. Talk to you soon. Peace.